Patten.
Okay.
Did you not learn from Jenny? Do not parrot his words.
Thank you, President. And my question is to the Minister for Higher Education, Minister Tierney. Minister Tierney, there's approximately 20,000 student accommodation places in Greater Melbourne, and we don't expect our international students to be coming back at the fulsome numbers that we had in the past. So I'm wondering if you could tell me what percentage of international students Melbourne can expect back in our schools and in that student accommodation by, say, the end of next year.
Minister Tierney.
Can I seek a point of order, President, in that international students per se are the responsibility of Minister Pakula, not myself?
Ms. Patten, you can direct the Minister to get an answer from, but is she representing Mr. Pakula?
I think I've never heard her answer a question. I've only been here 6 months.
Was direct to Minister for Higher Education.
And it was specifically in regards to the student accommodation that is available at our universities in Victoria, but obviously with the understanding that international students generally tenant those places.
I think there's going to be a multi-agency response.
Minister Tierney. Order. Thank you. Mr. Tierney, can you, I'm looking at Mr. Pakula's portfolios. Can you explain where that fall under his? Please, thank you.
It's under the trade portfolio.
Thank you. The order. Thank you, Ms. Patten.
Yeah, thank you, President. I wonder if I could reword the question so it's specifically about the accommodation. Thank you, Minister. I'm specifically interested in that accommodation that is available in those universities, and that we're fairly
Order. Thank you. Do you want to direct your question to Minister Pulford? She represents Mr. Pakula.
Is it if it's just about the accommodation? Is that with Minister Tierney, or is that with Minister Pakula? It's about the.
Order.
It's about the.
Order. Ms. Pulford.
Point of order. This is. We're very happy to try and find the right person to answer the question. It's a little hard to do without having heard the question. So with your forbearance, perhaps if Ms. Patten could ask her question and we could seek a response. But in a general sense, organisations like universities and their accommodation arrangements aren't something the government has direct remit over, but we're happy to undertake to follow up or to inquire as best we can in that context. And I'm sort of guessing where you're going because we don't know where you're going.
Thank you. Order, please. Ms. Patten, can I ask you, please, to repeat your question?
Okay.
Thank you. And I believe it will be Ms. Pulford, but repeat your question.
Thank you. So as I mentioned earlier, there is going to be significant accommodation empty in our universities for the next probably 12 months to 2 years, as more students choose to learn online, but also because we won't have our international students. So my question is, has there been any conversations with the universities about repurposing that accommodation?
Order. Thank you. Minister?
President, and the reason why there is hesitation, because international students does fall under the domain of trade, and that's Minister Pakula. In terms of general advocacy issues in relation to higher education, that's myself. In terms of borders and foreign students or international students, obviously those decisions about the opening of borders is very much part and parcel of the federal government's remit. And of course, funding for higher education and general policy settings primarily is the Commonwealth as well. But going to the point that you have asked,
Order, please. Thank you. I want to hear the Minister. Thank you.
Going to the question you have asked, Ms Patten, in terms of student accommodation. I meet with the Vice-Chancellors on a fairly regular basis. We also have a forum that I participate with. There's also meetings with the department on a weekly basis with the Vice-Chancellors. At the moment, they have predominantly been dealing with the immediate impacts, like the immediate impacts of COVID, and also, of course, issues around international students and advocacy around that. And in fact, I have a meeting scheduled with Minister Tien fairly soon. The actual specific issues of student accommodation and any possible repurposing, that has not been an issue that has been raised directly with me at this point in time, but I'm happy to have a further conversation with you offline in terms of other things that are happening in the sector.
Thank you. Any supplementary, Mrs. Patten?
Thank you, Minister. And yes, precisely. So, by way of supplementary, as we know, the priority housing list is ever growing, and sadly exponentially. So currently, we have about 24,000, nearly 25,000 people waiting on that priority list. Many of them singles. So, by way of a supplementary, will you investigate whether that accommodation that will be sitting empty for the next little while be able to be repurposed?
Minister.
Thank you, President. I thank the member for her question. I'm happy to raise this with the Vice-Chancellors in terms of any plans that they already have underfoot, as well as the whole issue of the timing of the return of international students, just in terms of what the supply might be. But the fact of the matter is, in terms of the specific request you're asking, that again would go to the Minister for Housing, and so we would be open to further discussion.
Thank you.